The pilot bearing in the kit is incorrect for the application, has been corrected in our system, needs new part number 545-41100, which is that new roll.
All right, so as you can tell, the engine is in. We got the part in, got it fixed, got it all together and dropped it in. And honestly, you know, outside of the power steering reservoir that's connected to the pump, kind of, you know, hitting over there, which is why I'm holding this belt. We had it all together and had to take it off. It went really well. Austin, what do you think, as opposed to like some other builds you've done?
It came out of there real easy. You know, didn't have to worry about getting into a radiator or anything. There's a lot of space. It's a long engine, but a lot of room.
Yeah, that T56 added a lot of a depth to this this whole setup. Plus, you know, we put the accessories on because we thought, you know, it's going to fit with the accessories, but it does add length and just more things that hopefully not hit that are painted really nicely. But Joe, you were watching. You keep an eye on everything?
Yeah. I mean, that was a first for me, just actually like seeing an engine really go in and everything like that. So it was a little nerve-wracking, especially with the angle that it was going at, and then you pulling down on it. It was all new to me, but
yeah, he said me pulling down on it. I'm the one that was underneath the car pulling down on the tail shaft.
You're kind of looking like a cat hanging from a ceiling fan, hanging on to it.
Yeah, I mean, I had all my weight. I had my feet, you know, up against something that the subframe connects to down there, some of the framing, to really just pull it down as much as possible, just to kind of get it under that tunnel. And then once we kind of got it up into the tunnel, it was, you know, and we were clearing this, it worked really well. Have to use a different power steering pump, like I said, one with the reservoir. So I have to find a place for the reservoir. But outside of that, you know, really easy. For all of this being together like this, I'd say a very easy installation. You know, like the Bronco, it was, the body was completely off of it, and it was literally just putting the engine on a frame and then you drop the body on. So that's a freebie, that doesn't count. This is honestly one of the easiest installs that I've done.
Yeah.
But now it's time to put it all together, and you know, we've got everything mounted. The motor mounts are tight, the transmission mount is tight, which was about 12 inches back from the stock location, which is kind of nice because now all this weight that, you know, is behind these front motor mounts, which is a lot, is now 12 inches farther back. So it's pushing down more on the center of the engine, which is going to give you a little more center of gravity balance, which will be pretty nice for what we're going for with this. But yeah, like I said, it's, you know, everything's secured. Now it's just time for all this wiring, put it all together. And you guys ready to do all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Should go together pretty easy. The Holly makes it nice and plug and play.
Yeah, pretty plug and play. And I got some cool stuff that I'm fabricating for this, for the spark plug wires. It'll look like an original old school distributor, you know, that's a big block, but old school engine, and it'd be kind of cool to see how it is. So we'll get to that in just a second.
So as I just mentioned, there was a piece that I wanted to fabricate that I've been kind of excited to fabricate, honestly. As you see here, the old original 400, you know, I had the carburetor on top, you know, no big surprise there. These had a special air breather though, because of the shaker on the top of the hood, which you'll see in just a second, a little more in detail. But the whole air breather package was also this shaker hood that stuck out the top. So when your engine would rev, you know, you get a little movement. Well, it was nice and easy because you just, you know, attach this piece on top of here, tighten it down like you normally would, little wing nut, and then you'd put on a little clamp that would hold the shaker on, boom, you're done. Well, now we've got an LS motor, and we don't have a carburetor sticking out the top any longer to set this shaker on, but as you can see, it's setting on something. So what we did is, you know, some good, really nice B-roll. Again, we'll show you that I kind of designed some brackets on the side here and then a little tab that goes down through and connects to the intake bolts that hold that LS intake in. And then I literally just made a big circle on top that's the same size as this shaker here. So if I take the shaker off now, not only did I get a functional shaker, but if you'll notice, you can kind of see the spark plug wires. It kind of looks like there's a distributor on here. And there's not, because there's coils right there. Set this down without breaking it. So we've got these cool Trans Am, you can see them over there, valve covers. And we wanted to keep that look of a distributor engine because, you know, that's what this came with, a distributor in the back, GM. And I was like, you know what, where do I put these coils? You know, sometimes people put them on the fenders, you know, remote mount them somewhere. And I was like, wait a minute, I've got all this space up top. I'm gonna put them right there. So we've got all the coils right up there. There's gonna be a screen to help prevent water getting in there. And it'll also drain down like it used to, you know, the old school one would drain and kind of come down. Because, you know, if you're driving in the rain, which is inevitable, you want to make sure, you know, you're not getting too much water down in here. But from there, it just, you know, it just seemed perfect. So there it is. So take a moment here. We've stepped away from this. You can see the gas tank. So got everything ready to go to the tuner recently. The day before, we were working pretty late to about 10 o'clock and had a fuel leak coming out the back. So we went back there, and this is all NPT, all AN. There's no barb, there's nothing. It was, you know, it should be sealed, should be ready for, gosh, you know, 200 PSI if we wanted. But we're only running 58. And sure enough, as it held pressure, it would slowly start leaking and dripping, and then just not spraying out, but just dripping pretty quickly and pouring out. And there's fuel all over this thing because we tried at least 4 different times to tighten it. We even added thread sealant to NPT. We tried everything, and even went to barb. We're like, you know, I don't know, maybe one of these NPTs are bad. One of these fittings, and went to barb. Nope, it leaked again. So coming to find out, I was like, there's no other options. You know, I mean, we've only got so many options that you can actually try. We've tried them all. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put a cap on the end of this little hat here. And sure enough, that's where our problem was. The little cinder right there was actually, I don't know if that NPT is just out of round a little bit, but that was the culprit, and that's why we had fuel coming out and streaming. It was just streaming out of that because with the cap on there, it was still leaking. So our new part coming in and put us a week behind on getting the engine started and running and driving around. But you know, that's what kind of happens here at the end. There's always something that just kind of gets you right there at the end that you're not expecting. So that's why we're working on more of the body work again earlier than expected. But speaking of that, how are those flares coming along?
It's going on good.
Yeah?
So just getting the nut on the back of this backside on the second one, and she'll pretty much be on there.
Yeah, I think these cars are kind of ugly, honestly, you think? Until you get the stripes and the flares, and the flares add a lot, but the biggest thing I think is the stripes. You don't, these cars have really beautiful body lines, but you don't see them until you get those stripes and everything on there, and you get the contrast. You know me, contrast, I love it. You start getting all that on there, it really starts to pop then. So right now it looks like a pretty basic Gen 2 F body, you know, kind of just whatever, in all black. But we start getting some graphics on there, which is next week, and you probably won't get to see them until the release video, so sorry. But those will get on, and it'll really start looking like the car that we want it to be. All right, so we got the strap kit on, and like I said, I'm not showing you the car
right now, so we're going to talk about interior. And as you can see, I am building the new dash with the new gauges. Here's kind of the start to it. We're on new gauges. You know, these are all electronic. The other ones were electronic too, but these are more digital. Have just a little bit better setup, you know, switching over to this LS, which you can use old gauges with an LS just fine. But this stuff just makes life way easier with this, and it just looks good. It kind of matches the modern that we're kind of doing here and there, the touches that we're doing. It just makes it feel a little more right. You know, we're not going to be chasing after speedo gears to try to get the exact speedo size gear to get our speedometer perfect. This is literally, you know, you use a GPS speedo on your phone and you go to a certain speed, you push, you know, some buttons, and it says, all right, you're going 45, I'm going to say I'm going 45, and then it calibrates, and it's really easy to calibrate all this stuff. Same with fuel tank. You know, we went to a different ohm rating probably than what was the factory ohm rating. I think GM had like 3 or 4 different ohm rating cylinders. This calibrates to any style, Ford, GM, Chrysler, whatever we put in there, we can calibrate it to. So just some of that stuff you don't think about when you're like building, buying all this cool stuff. Like, oh yeah, that's, you know, that looks cool. I'm just gonna wire it right up. Doesn't always work that way, especially with like, you know, fuel cylinder setup, because I can tell you from experience, it's been a pain in the ass before trying to get the right ohm rating on a dang fuel cylinder to match everything else. So that is what our dash is going to look like once we get, you know, a couple more things kind of built in here. We'll throw it in over there.
Yeah, we got new carpet for this thing. It's kind of neat looking. Now, if you've ever done any kind of restoration or you're thinking about doing a restoration, new carpet is always a pain to install. It comes rolled up real tight. You know, it always wants to roll back up on itself when you get it out of the box. So, neat little trick to help that. If you're in a little bit of a warmer area or it's not going to rain and it's not below freezing outside, take your carpet, set it outside in the sun, let it get nice and hot, and then you can start to roll it out and it'll stay. Which, we've got a brand new carpet for the car. We'll have to cut some holes for the seats, but should slap right in there and not give us any problems.
All right, so here we've got the front and rear windshield channel trims. You can see that these are used. They don't remanufacture any of these, so we had to go with used parts, and honestly looks like it came from a smoker's car. But, you know, we can, you know, spray paint over this, make it look brand new. But you can see, like, honestly, the main reason we went with these is that the rubber mounting points that hold the headliner in, these were the best condition. I mean, most of them were just brittle and not together, but this one is actually all one piece and was honestly the best option that we had. So once this is resprayed and everything, this will probably, you know, look brand new. Have to do some light sanding and all that, but overall it should be good. So yeah.
All right, so here, am I on?
Yep.
I like to go with these old radios when I can. And what happens with these old cars is guys cut out the pieces that hold old school radios, and that is the case here. So I kind of had to make little brackets in here to house the new old style radio. Little tabs that I just kind of bolted in here that kind of hold these old school radios you can see here have these little knob sections, and I had to bolt in these 2 spots here. Now, you know, with the new cover, it'll look like it did back in the day. It'd be pretty cool. All right, so here is our manual style center console, because, you know, we switched to manual. But before we go any farther, I'm gonna kick you guys out because I'm too nervous that the camera's gonna pick up something over here on this beautiful car. The next video you see will be the release video of this, so get really excited, because I know I am. Get out of here.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Boom. Nailed it.